If you clicked on this video, then you want to know what are the next best markets to invest into because the market is changing. Investors and buyers agents are no longer looking in areas like Townsville or Gladstone or Perth. They are starting to change their focus to other markets. And in this video, I'm going to break down 5 different markets which you can consider investing into if you're targeting sort of cooler markets. Now, this video is not to say that Townsville and Perth are still not growing. They are. However, the competition is very high, and there's already the shrewd investors, the smart investors, and the people who are looking to buy in less competitive areas have already started shifting markets in throughout Australia. So I'm going to give you 5 markets because my property channel and my YouTube ethos is always about no gatekeeping locations or suburbs. So I'm going to always give you the most up-to-date information. So let's jump straight into the first location. And I know we've got wider Darwin here, but the most activity and a significant amount of activity is actually happening in Palmerston City, right? This location has really started heating up with less and less listings coming onto the market every single day. And some of these markets in Palmerston City have really started picking off, and you need to be very selective about which locations you have to buy into. Now, I have done a video previously about Darwin, so you should go definitely check that one out because it gives a bit more of an in detail breakdown. And we've got different locations like Rosebery, Malden, that have all started picking up. And even in Malden, we're starting to see price increases happen over the past 3 months and over the future as well. And we have to remember that data actually lags, and data is not properly reflected until 1 or 2 months after all the activity is starting to happen. And from what we have been hearing on the ground with agents and people in the community talking about it, we know that very big buyers agents that have YouTube channels that are active on YouTube are actually buying in these locations. And I'm not going to say who they are, but they are very big YouTubers in the properties field that are actually buying up a lot of these properties. And what you generally will find is that a lot of these properties are no longer on realestate.com. They are going off market. They are being snapped up by big BAs, buying them between $400,000 to $500,000, securing them before any other retail investor actually has a chance. So if you really want to consider a market that's moving, you should consider Darwin, Palmerston City, and all the locations that come along with it. Now, of course, do your due diligence about which pockets are the best to invest into Darwin. This is more giving you a broad perspective about which markets you should consider investing into. And if you're wondering how we know about these locations and where the next location to invest is into, then you need to subscribe to the private community. We have over 150 members currently subscribed to the community, sharing tips, tricks, locations, every single day. It's $35 a month. It's an absolute no-brainer. You need to jump into the community so that you are updated on what the best locations to invest are into. Because we were talking about Darwin a couple months ago and people were already buying into it before the BAs even got there. So if you haven't already, make sure you jump into the private community. And to give you a little sneak peek of what that looks like, you can see here that every single day a different location is discussed. We go through different topics, different suburbs, whether it's New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, Western Australia. We even have a mortgage broker on board who can answer your mortgage broking questions. So it's an absolute no-brainer. You guys need to be in the community to stay ahead of the property investment curve. It's $35 a month. It's an absolute no-brainer. Make sure you jump in. Let's get back into the video. All right, the next market that is rapidly changing is Albury. There has been a lot of activity over the past 1 to 2 months with BAs and investors jumping to the market, snapping up properties under $500,000. It is no longer possible, I would say, to find a good property under 500K within Albury that doesn't need any work. You're really looking around the 550K price point to secure something. And areas like North Albury, Lavington, Springdale Heights, and Turunga have all started to pick up in activity. Now, they do have all their own price points, so you have to be particularly careful about which markets you want to enter and the pockets of which Albury you want to enter. And again, I do have a deep dive video on Albury, which you can go check out. Now, Albury is a very good regional location. It's a perfect for a long-term hold, and it's a location that I quite love. And a number of community members have bought in this location and currently hold property and are also looking at this location to invest into. So if you want another market that is changing, that is growing, then you should consider Albury. And I want to stress, this data is not being reflected, or this activity is not being reflected in hashtag at the moment or other data. However, we are starting to see some leading indicators in the lack of stock as well as the increase in demand, both in some of the suburbs and also discussing on the ground with agents. Like if we have a look at Lavington, for example, we can see a decreasing stock and an increasing demand, which is what we need for capital growth to occur. So, if you are looking for the other market that's starting to grow, some more activities happening, Albury is a location you can consider. Now, of course, once again, do your own due diligence. Let's keep going on to the next location. Now, the next location I want to talk about is Bendigo. Now, Bendigo is a very large regional location within Victoria. It's a great for a long-term hold. However, there is some stronger activity happening within this market already that we're seeing on the ground, we're seeing reflected in realestate.com. We are yet to see that data being reflected more strongly on hashtag or DSR. However, once again, we have the indication in the dropping levels of supply as well as the increase in demand. A lot of properties are currently going off market. They are not even coming on realestate.com. They're being snapped up by savvy investors, by buyers agents buying in the area, because these locations are locations that you want to be buying in. They're good long-term holds. They have potential for short-term growth, and they have a lack of supply. They aren't building new homes. It's getting very difficult to buy properties in these areas. And as a result of that, we are seeing house price increases. So areas like Kangaroo Flat, California Gully, Eagle Hawk, even activity across White Hills and Epsom are starting to happen. Some of the more premium locations like East Bendigo, Kennington, some of the more premium locations have lower yields, which you might not want, more less desirable as an investor standpoint. But areas like California Gully, Eagle Hawk, Kangaroo Flat have the high yields, more accessible price point, and there's just more activity happening. So once again, I do have a video on Bendigo. Go check that out. But there is more activity happening in Bendigo. I wanted to let the people know what is happening, right? So if you're looking at locations apart from Townsville, apart from Perth, apart from regional Queensland, then Victoria has opportunity for you. And Bendigo is one of those opportunities that is very good in terms of a short-term growth perspective and a long-term growth perspective. And when I say short-term, I don't expect 20% growth in the next 12 months, but there is more activity happening. It could be growing into something big. Do your own due diligence. I think Bendigo is a wonderful location to invest into, about 2.5, I believe, hours away from Melbourne. Great location, very economically diverse. For a long-term investor, it's a no-brainer. Let's keep going. And if you're wondering how I come up with these locations, the strategies to purchase property, the tax structures, the advanced market economics, then you need to be part of the education program, the property blueprint. It's an absolute steal at $299 a month. Make sure you pre-order it. It is all about wealth creation. It's all about property investing. It is an amazing education program that I put my heart and soul into over the past 6 months, developing the course, developing the strategies. So make sure you jump in. It's an absolute no-brainer. There's 6 months access to the private community, which is worth over $200. So you're getting information plus access to the community and mentorship so that I can help you achieve your property goals. So make sure you are in the community. Make sure you do purchase the property blueprint, because we will be able to help you in your next investment purchase. And remember, no one else gives you guys education at the price that I give you. I am creating education affordable in property. No one else does this. All right, let's go to the last two locations that you should consider investing into and where we're seeing more market activity happening. Now, the next location that I want to tell you about is actually Mildura. Now, Mildura is I think, about 8 hours away from Melbourne CBD. It's right on the border across New South Wales and Victoria on the Victoria side. It's a small regional location. However, it has consistently performed over the past 10 years at a very good average of 10% every single year. That argues that the location has overperformed. However, we are seeing more market activity happening. We have two community members who are purchasing in Mildura who had active connections with the property manager, and they have personally said that they are seeing more activity from buyers agents and from investors buying up property in these areas. Now, that could lead us to believe that investors are driving the market, which is not ideal, but it's still okay because investors are chasing after yields and affordable property prices, and that is what Mildura offers. And once again, we also know that there is a very big buyer's agent who has a YouTube channel who has been buying up property within this area for the past 6 months. And when they come out saying they were buying there 1, 2 years ago, then you will know who I'm talking about. However, Mildura is one of those locations where investors and people are buying, and there is more activity happening and more stock depleting and more demand increasing. So, another market that you guys can consider. Of course, do your due diligence about a short term or a long term hold. When there are small towns, I'm a little bit more risk averse against them, but it might suit your risk strategy and profile. Let's get into the final location. And the last location that I want to sort of tell you guys about is Carrum Downs and Frankston area. There has been a lot more activity within Carrum Downs, within Frankston, where buyers agents and investors are buying up in the area. And not only that, when you see on property forum group chats and talking to other BAs, you might know some buyers agents who buy in this area. They are seeing a lot more on the ground activity from owner occupiers securing properties in that affordable range of 650 to 800, because that is what's affordable for most families and most owner occupiers and most couples starting out. And we are seeing a lot more activity of people buying in this area. In fact, lot alone, when I was speaking to one agent, they had over 25 calls from different BAs in the space of 1 week looking to buy properties in this area. That is an indication that there is going to be a very deplete lack of supply over the next few months in this area. So, if you are considering to invest in a changing market, taking that risk, taking that leap into a counter-cyclical market, so to speak, then Carrum Downs and the Frankston area could be a good option for you. Now, of course, like I always said throughout this entire video, do your due diligence. I'm just giving the information about which markets are changing, which markets are having some price growth happening, and which markets are having more activity, both from an investor side and both from an owner occupier side. But this video is to help you understand that the market is changing. There's more locations to consider than just regional Queensland and Perth, and I hope this video has helped you. And remember this, if you weren't part of the private community, then you wouldn't know about these locations. So make sure you jump in, make sure you understand why we're investing to these locations, and make sure that you are educated so that you can make the best decisions possible for your investment journey. I hope this video has helped you. Till next time.